So the perspectives here that I'm going to share are different than what usually you may hear from the mainstream. And this is me, this is my experience, and if it resonates with any of you as you listen, perhaps it will plant a seed or set off a wonderful spark or give a different perspective or a sense of relief or a refreshing feeling or a refreshing viewpoint to an old stale way of looking at things. So, you know, during the times of slavery with the Africans, there was that phrase, the one-drop theory, meaning you have one drop of black blood in you, you're automatically black. I disagree. I disagree. And I will give a lot of credit to my parents and the way that they told me about myself, because I could clearly see that my parents were both from completely different cultures. My mom having Egyptian, Ethiopian, Welsh, and 6 Native American tribes and French in her, and my dad primarily having like fair skin, Anglo-Saxon Caucasian features. So here I am, and I feel them all. And I remember my mom and dad both made very strong efforts to say, you're Native American, Lakota, Sioux, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Navajo, Apache, you know, you're also French on your mom's side and Welsh on your mom's side. My mom has auburn hair and freckles. And, you know, my mom's definitely, my great-great-grandparents are Egyptian and Ethiopian as well. And on my dad's side, from Europe. Fair skin, blue eyes, blonde hair, straight hair, all those features. And they all make up me. So my parents made a really good point to say, this is what you are. This is who you are. You're NaTaLia. And so my parents did that so I know myself. And when I'm out in the world, I make my imprint. I'm me. And not letting anybody else tell me who I am, because believe you me, people will try to tell you in a blink who you are, or guess who you are, or guess your ethnic heritage, and then they start getting into stereotypes, or sometimes they start getting into assumptions that are not true about you. And you gotta set the record straight. And I know that when it comes to African American culture, anyone, it seems as though, who has any African features is deemed or seen as African American. I really don't like the phrase black. Where on the globe is black? And I don't like white. Where on the globe is the country white and where's the country black? I really personally feel it's a lot more loving and respectful, even on your subconscious mind, to just express your cultures individually. If you know them, you could do a blood test and research. Also, I know some people just don't care, and they can just put themselves wherever they want. And this is a video for those like me who just have this perspective. No matter how many cultures you are, or your ethnic background, it's not like African just came in and bled all over them and obliterated everything, and now it just took over, like the paint spilled and bled all over the other colors and you got this. But still in the mix, all those colors, all those beautiful colors and hues are still there. You know, so it's not like African American, it's not like African just came in and took over. It's like you're still all your cultures. You're going to have tastes and behaviors and features, however strong, however subtle, that are going to be all of you. You know, like I got blonde hair on my arms, I got freckles on my nose, I got blue eyes. I also have beautiful African curly hair. You know, I also have Egyptian cheekbones. It's all me. And I refuse to put myself in any category. And if you feel the same, I hope this really gives you some sense of relief, just so you don't feel peer pressure or society pressure. You know, a lot of people, okay, this is another thing. This also exists in, say, like, you know, terms of ethnicities with the fair-skinned crowd. You know, they could be like French and Swedish, you know, and Polish, but it's not like one took over the other. And not like, you know, like Polish took over French and Swedish, and like this person just says they're Polish for the rest of their lives and they forget everything else that they are. This tends to happen, I'd say, more so with African American culture, because the features stand out a lot more prominently, and a person who is looking at someone else who's of multicultural background with African in them can just easily say, oh, you're African, and just forget everything else, because they're mesmerized by the look. They're mesmerized by the look. No matter how much I tell you I have a Jewish background, you're mesmerized by my African features. No matter how much I tell you that, you know, like, I'm Native American, you're mesmerized by the African features. Nobody's really speaking up about this. When I grew up in the 80s, people use that term mixed. I like multicultural, but I don't think people speak up about it as much, and so a lot of people who have any kind of African look tend to just get put into the African American black category. And you know what? I'm not saying it's bad, African American, African, black. I don't like the word black, but it's just like, it's not a bad thing. It's just, you're all of your cultures. I'm all of my cultures, and I'm not going to let one just dominate the rest. And people say, oh, are you just like not acknowledging your African, you know, heritage? No, I include it with everything. I go down the extreme whole list of everything that I am, because that's just the way, you know, I like doing it. That's my way. I don't care what society says, and I'll just keep speaking up. You know? And so, you know, there could also be a blonde, blue-eyed girl like my niece, and she's like, you know, 1/4 African American, but no one knows because they don't see it, so nobody's going to say it. They just think, you know, she's like Swedish American. So there's things like that. People are very mesmerized by the look of a person, and they tend to just like immediately guess that that's the thing. And so I'm not saying that having African blood is bad. No, it's just acknowledge it as a part of you and acknowledge the rest. And don't let yourself get pressured by society or other people and angry people and ignorant people who just don't know or think this way to say that, you know, forget all of your cultures and just be black. You know? No, it's just like, you could speak up for everything. You don't have to do what other people are expressing to you, you know, or forcing down your throat, or what do you do when you have to fill out that paperwork? Just check them all. Check off all the boxes, all the cultures. Mesmerize them. Speak up. Stand up. Be you. So that's what I'm here to say. Fucking debunk the one-drop modern day... Okay, debunk the modern day one-drop theory. Someone has to speak up about it now. Here I am. So acknowledge all of your cultures. And it doesn't mean you're denying your African culture. It means you're acknowledging everything, including Africa. Baby. Okay? So take a fresh new look at that. And however you choose to look at a person, please ask what their background is instead of assume. You may make yourself sound so ignorant if you assume and start getting into stereotypes and assumptions and things that you see on TV. Stereotypes only can go so far, and then they go into no man's land, as I say. Because a person is an individual, and you never know how a person's raised, and you never know how a person's parents, you know, express to them their background. You never know what the triggers are. You never know a person's experience. So ask. Ask where a person's ethnicity comes from instead of assuming. So, if that's too much effort for you, then this is for those who really, really, really care or have this perspective. So there I did it. Acknowledge all of you. Don't be pressured into society's way of telling you how to be yourself. I bet you that's a load off right now. Some society pressure, load off. Get that off of your shoulders. You're free now. So you're free to express what you want, and this is my perspective. So there!